welcome back, Attack. Today we've got something really fun and fantastic for you all, and that's going to be a top 10 online action RPG. These are going to be RPG games that happen to have a lot of action in them that really are defined by their multiplayer interactions. Now, whether that be co-op, versus, or some sort of weird abomination of the two, the point of this list is to rank action RPGs by their online experience, and in the end, overall, how it's going to impact our actual gameplay through our story progression. So, with that in mind, here's the highest quality, the best 10 online action RPG. Alright, now everybody, starting off the list at number 10, we've got Spirit Lords. Now, this is a game that I just recently started playing, and it just recently released. It is a mobile game. You can go play it on Android, on iOS, tablets, phones, and it actually works really comfortably on everything. It truly is, I think, something of a revolution for action RPGs on mobile, let alone being an online action RPG. It truly is a fantastic game, for everyone. Colorful, cute, has lots of character, and overall the world of Spirit Lords really feels at home on mobile devices. And at number 9, we've got Marvel Heroes. This is another for everyone game that can be played pretty easily. It's got a huge cast of characters that a lot of people are quite fond of. I don't know if you guys have heard of, Marvel Comics and that whole universe, but it's going to be using that. A big pool, expansive roster of really interesting, Marvel heroes to play as, and it's actually really interesting to see this game's take on their abilities and how they intertwine with each other, and it plays very much like an MMO would, except with the controls and the game feel of an action RPG and that dungeon diving, loot-driven gameplay that we all know and love in the genre. At number 8, it's Magicka. Now, Magicka would probably make any top 10 list for RPGs or action RPGs just because of how freaking unique it is. Now, it is a very challenging game because you actually have to combine different elements in order to craft spells and use them, wield them in different situations, and try not to kill your friends because, yeah, friendly fire is on. It's hugely difficult, but that just adds to the chaos. And the chaos is kind of the reason why this game is so fun. Now, if you're looking for a great co-op experience, there's not many other games that's going to reach up to the level that Magicka is on. Now here we go at number 7, this is Dragon Nest. A very chibi anime-inspired action RPG, but don't let the cute, colorful graphics get in the way. This is seriously the single most action-packed online game out there. Its physics and brutality is actually kind of unparalleled. One really awesome fact about Dragon Nest is that it's kind of an MMO. It is a massively multiplayer game, as in there's lots of people playing, but it is truly a dungeon diver. It's truly an action RPG, but we still get all the perks of MMOs. Lots of new characters, tons of content to dive through, an ever-expanding endgame. Really, the only downside is that we have usual questing. But in those usual quests is a lot of charm and character that you're not going to get anywhere else. And coming in at number 6, we have Vindictus, which in a lot of the lists, I actually combine Dragon Nest and Vindictus because they're sister games. They play so very similar, but the way that it's separated on this list is because this is an RPG list. Different aesthetics really matter, different stories, different, role-playing, and Vindictus is really dark. Very dark compared to Dragon Nest. Now, Dragon Nest is very good and very physical and very brutal, but Vindictus, with its aesthetic, really shows it. It's very visceral and, eviscerating. Lots of blood, lots of gore, maybe even some consider horror. It's got a pretty interesting world to explore, and it gives you all the tools you need to tear right through it. At number 5, we have Neverwinter Dungeons & Dragons, of course. In an RPG list, we've got to have a Dungeons & Dragons game, and Neverwinter actually handedly earns its spot here halfway through the list. Now, I'm going to admit, it's not as solemn as its MMO counterparts, or maybe as some would want from an RPG game of Dungeons & Dragons name and lineage, but it has a lot of really interesting arcade aspects, such as able to create our own dungeons and quests. Its focus on PvP and dungeon party play. It takes away from the deep storylines, the deep statistic combat, dice rolling. It really focuses on the explosive mechanics, which you would want in an action RPG, and for that reason, it's number 5. At number 4, we have a game that's still in beta, and that is Skyforge. Now, Skyforge to many is considered an MMO, but truly it is an action RPG. It really focuses on those dungeons, those instance areas that party play. Now, one great thing about awesome RPGs is the fact that they are unique, novel stories, and Skyforge really gives you an original world setting. Not only that, but your entire gameplay experience is going to be very peculiar. It's got a tasteful mix of action/tactic-based combat, a continuous narrative that follows your story progression. Yeah, all in all, it seems like Skyforge is really straddling the barrier between MMO and online action RPG. At number 3, we have Path of Exile. Now, this is a game that is critically acclaimed. It's considered a AAA title by most, and it's actually free to play. Its replayability, its unique flavor, its complexity, and its action, of course, well, Path of Exile definitely earns every spot on every top 10 that it is a part of, and that's a lot. It's great for co-op, it's great for versus, it's really good for single player, its story-driven narrative is fantastic. It's a really dark, yes, but very interesting world. Not too novel, no, it's just so freaking well done, it really just can't be contested. Yeah, it's just about got the best writing I have ever listened to or read, pretty much my whole life. At number 2, we've got the Diablo franchise. The series that basically made the genre. Diablo 3 is the newest incarnation and is considered to be the standard. Oh, it can absolutely be played as a single player, but it's really most fun with friends, and I have to say that the game is a little bit particular compared to others on the list, especially because it is, well, very polished. I mean, it's just a very well done game. It's not really being highlighted for its online features, which there is some, and it is a co-op game. It is fun as a co-op game, but truly, it's just such a good game, such a well-rounded experience overall, that it makes it so high on this list for online action RPGs. And finally, at number 1, we have the Dark Souls series. Now, if Diablo was the standard, Dark Souls is the game changer. Dark Souls walked up to Diablo and punched it in its face. But seriously, Dark Souls breaks so many rules for action RPGs, it's not funny. It literally isn't. It's very dark, it's very serious. But that's why we like it. And one very, very interesting aspect to Dark Souls is its online interaction, or really kind of like the lack thereof. I mean, there's a huge plethora of players playing the game, and there is this sort of persistence of people feeding into your world, invading you, you invading them, or you inviting them to do some jolly cooperation. It's a very strange world, but at the same time, even though it is so full of life, it's still very, very despairing. Dark Souls is the lonely MMO. There simply isn't any other game out there with its mechanics, with its very vague, honestly, but intriguing story, and let alone its online interactions. So, for a top 10 online action RPG, we have to give it to Dark Souls. Alright, so that was it. That was our top 10 online action RPGs. Hopefully you guys had fun with the games, if not, the video itself. And if you have seen some new games here, you guys should definitely go check them out. Worth the chance. Worth the while. And if you've got any that you think that we would have fun playing, go ahead and leave it in the comments below. And how about this, guys? If you are interested in another top 10 kind of similar to this, maybe even an upcoming list, online action RPGs maybe, then, well, give us a like and subscribe. And of course, you're going to be notified whenever we do come out with those videos. And please come back, Attack. We look forward to the next video and seeing you there.